Section 12.4 is all about the law of cosines. To introduce, recall the Pythagorean theorem only applied to right triangles. If we had an obtuse triangle, then we knew that c squared was bigger than a squared plus b squared. And if we had an acute triangle, we knew that c squared was smaller than a squared plus b squared. So that means in an obtuse triangle, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared plus something else. And likewise in an acute triangle, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus something else. Well, it turns out that something is 2 times a times b times the cosine of angle c. And that leads us to the law of cosines. So for any triangle with side lengths a, b, and c, and angle c, the angle opposite length c, here it is, the law of cosines. C squared is a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of c. And we use the law of cosines when we want to find a side given side angle side, or if we want to find an angle given all three sides. So we'll look at two examples. First example, push pause, sketch this in your notes. Here we're given side angle side. We know 96 and 84 are side lengths, and the angle between them is 77. And we want to find the length of NL. So the law of cosines says c squared, C-A-O-O. Label angle, the given angle as c. And that means the side opposite it would be little c. And then for the other two sides, it doesn't really matter which you do as a or b, but that will help you sub in the numbers in the correct way. So c squared is the length m, a is 84, b is 96, and angle c is 77 degrees. So now all we have to do is solve for m. I know I've got m squared on the left-hand side, so I can isolate that with the square root. And then you got to type this monster into your calculator. So I've got the square root of, oh boy, minus that times the cosine of that. And you should get approximately 112.445 centimeters. Last example turns it around a bit. Here we're given three sides, and we want to find an angle. So again, the law of cosines, set it up. We've got c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of c. And we want to find angle I. So we're going to call that c for our law of cosines formula. So therefore the side opposite it would be 45, and then we've got 51 and 42. And we'll sub in the numbers that we know. And now we have to solve for c. I'm going to subtract 42 squared. And I'm going to subtract 51 squared. And now I see on the right-hand side I have negative 2 times 42 times 51. Well, that's just a number. So I'm going to divide by that number. And then since the cosine of the angle is equal to that nasty fraction, we'll need inverse trig. So the inverse cosine of that monster is equal to c. And now typing that into the calculator correctly, I would recommend first do the numerator and divide by the denominator. Please note the parentheses are really important. If you don't have the parentheses around the negative 2 times 42 times 51, your calculator tries to do it without correct notation. So there we go, and then we want the inverse cosine of that. Should get us about 56.9 degrees.